that I really liked about it is during first year, I knew a lot of people who'd say, oh, I don't want to go to a lecture because I don't know anyone there, and they felt weird sitting alone. When you go into the scholars class, everyone always went, really, because you knew everyone there. And I think that was also another factor that kind of made it enjoyable, because everyone was always there. So you kind of looked forward to that one class every week, because you're like, I'm gonna see everyone. And we also had group discussions, so you got to share your opinion, and not feel like, oh, I have to impress everybody here with something that I said because I want to sound smart, or I want to sound, ingenious and make myself stand out. No, like, you could just share your opinion, and everybody was very open. And the last thing that I think made it super unique was a personalized learning experience. So I found that Professor Kuhn would oftentimes change up the way that he taught if he thought that, we weren't responding as much, or if everybody kind of looked lost a little bit, right? If there was too many blank faces, he'd try another method. So I think that definitely is something that you don't see in bigger classes, because if you have a lot of kids, then if half of them have a blank face on, then it's like, what could you do, right? But if you have 20 kids in the class, then you could try different learning methods, and it usually works out nice. So I think those were definitely the things that made utmONE very unique. The important skill that I learned throughout the experience was critical thinking. And that was because not only did we have to learn about a topic and write an essay about it, like in regular courses, or even do a test about it, but in the utmONE Scholars course, like I mentioned earlier, we do discussions, right? And so you have to not only think critically, but you also have to, make proficient statements quickly, right? And then analyze the process, so it helps you to think critically and think on the spot, right? And I think those are really important things, because in the real world, right, in an interview, or if you're asked something, you're gonna have to think on your feet, and I think that's super important. So it helped me develop my empathy skills, and it helped me realize, the famous saying where it's like, don't judge a book by its cover. I think that definitely played in with the course that I took, because it makes you think, okay, everyone has their own kind of, lived experience that they had to go through, and, you have to be conscious and aware of that when you talk to anyone. So when you speak to others, always make sure to treat them with respect, and, think about, okay, we don't know what's going on in other people's lives. So, that definitely helped me develop my empathy skills. I think, another aspect of my life academically that this course helped me develop was my research skills. So I think the scholars community as a whole is kind of like, we're trying to help, undergrads build up their research experience, so that potentially, help us in a career in academia. Fingers crossed. So I think that's definitely something that I developed throughout my time at the utmONE Scholars course. So I think alongside the unique aspects of the program and the personalized learning experiences, another great thing about this course is that you're part of the scholars community, and I think during your undergraduate career, it's extremely important to make those connections and use the resources that you have to pave your way in the field that you possibly want to pursue in the future. And so I think not only do you get great experiences out of the program where you make friends, you could have a personalized learning experience with a professor where you actually get to speak with them, and they evaluate your work personally, which is something that you don't really get a lot in first year. It's mainly TAs that mark your essays or your tests, but in the scholars courses you have the actual professor marking your work and telling you where you could improve, giving you constructive criticism. So I think that is extremely important, because you could use that as a resource to better yourself and develop your abilities, so that not only in upper year you could do good and kind of get like a little head start on those skills, but also during graduate school, if you choose to go there, it could also help you in presentation skills, because we do have to make a poster board at the end of the year with the seminars, and we have to present them. So for my year, we didn't present them, but I know every other year did present them. So I think that is extremely helpful as well. So it helps you, or it teaches you how to put together, those poster boards and make a good presentation, and obviously, teaching you those communication skills that you require, I think, if you pursue the field. Yeah.